In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear coil spring on your Nissan Altima, located behind the rear wheel. The procedure for the passenger side is the same as the driver's. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to remove the 5 lug nuts. Remove the rear wheel. Using a marker, put a mark on the camber bolt and the rear subframe. And when we put this back together, we're going to try and get those marks as close as possible. You will still need to get an alignment after this, but that mark will try and get you as close as possible. Using a 19mm wrench, I'm going to hold the head of the bolt. And using an 18mm wrench, I'm going to loosen the nut on the rear camber bolt. You do not need to take the nut fully off, just loosen it up and make sure it moves freely. Using 2 18mm wrenches, we're going to loosen the lower link bolt. Before taking the lower link bolt completely out, make sure you support the lower link. Remove the nut, remove the link bolt. Lower the jack that's under the rear link. You may need to use a pry bar to pry the lower link down. Using a pry bar, separate the lower link from the knuckle and then lower your jack to remove the tension off of the springs. Once you have enough space, remove the spring. If either the lower or the top isolator came out with your spring, make sure you reinstall them before you install the new spring. Make sure it sits in place and make sure it is in the correct position inside the lower link. Lower your jack far enough to be able to install the new spring. Slowly push the jack up. When putting the jack up, make sure you don't put so much force on it that you knock your car off the jack stands. Keep an eye on your lifting points, making sure they're not coming up. Once you get the lower link into about this area, using a pry bar on the lateral link and under the subframe, pull the knuckle down and insert the bolt. Using a pry bar in the lower link, I'm going to twist it up and forward and hit my bolt through. Reinstall the nut on the lower link bolt. Tighten down the bolt. Leave this bolt slightly loose for now. We're going to torque it once the car is loaded on the ground. Snug down the camber bolt, but leave it slightly loose. Line up the marks on your camber eccentric with the mark on the subframe. Unsupport the lower link. Install the tire back onto the car. Install your 5 lug nuts. Tighten down the wheel in a star pattern. With the rear link in a loaded state on the ground or the wheel pushed up, go ahead and tighten the camber bolt and the rear link bolt to 69 foot-pounds. Using an 18mm wrench, hold the head as you torque the nut on the rear link bolt. Using a 19mm wrench, hold the head of the camber bolt, line up the paint mark, and torque the nut to 69 foot-pounds. With your car on the ground, go ahead and torque your wheel. Torque it in a star pattern to 95 foot-pounds.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.